Okay, so this video here is about glass, bino, spotting scope, all that kind of stuff. Just in case you're curious about the big dog, the state fair just came through town, and there's one game there that I happen to be very good at that I've actually practiced. So every year they come, I make sure to win a big dog, and my kids love it. So that's kind of my revenge on the fair. All right, so let's talk about glass. Basically, we got binos, binoculars, spotting scopes, and then I have a couple different ones here. And then of course you got range finders. So here's what I'm looking at. Here's what I'm always carrying when I'm hunting. I carry this even if I'm whitetail hunting. So this is my bino harness. This is made by Alaskan Guide Creations, AGC, a lot of people call them. This is the Cub Max model. It basically kind of has everything. When I'm carrying this thing, you typically try to never put your pack down and leave it and come, and even if you're marking it and stuff, because it just inevitably turns out that you're gonna keep on moving. You're gonna be chasing elk, whatever, and you're gonna like think, oh, I'll be back here in 5 minutes, and then you're a mile away or whatever, and you have to double back. So when I'm wearing this thing, just in case I was to ever get separated from my pack, even though I try to never do that, it still does happen. Like if you're putting on a stock or something like that, trying to slip in on an animal real quick. I put like the essentials for me to potentially survive in this thing. This is kind of like just, it's all my quick access stuff, and there's a couple things in there. So of course, my binos. So this is my kind of everyday pair of binos. This is Vortex. These are the Viper models. So basically, I know they have a few other lines, but it started like Diamondback's their low model, Viper's their mid model, and Razor is their high end model. Like these are Razors. When I first started, Vipers are, really what were in my budget. So these are the 10x42s. If you're gonna get one pair of binos, I would say 10x42s. Buy the best glass you can afford. I'd probably get Razor if you like Vortex. Their warranty's awesome. I've actually sent stuff into them, and they fix it, replace it, clean it up, whatever. There's no questions asked. They're an incredible company. And if you ever have questions about glass, I call those guys. They're gonna like break it down. Like this is the best scope to get. This is the best spotting scope. This is the best binos for the situation, and they know all this stuff. I mean, they'll look up your gun model, all that stuff, tell you what basically scope rings to get and all that stuff. So 10x42, if I was getting one pair of binoculars, this is what they'd be. 10x42, I'd get the Razors. They're pretty compact. They're pretty good for Western hunting, like, out in Montana, Colorado, New Mexico, Utah, whatever. But they're also good in the whitetail woods. Basically, this other pair I have here is 10x50s. These, they just have a bigger lens on the end. I feel like they pull in a little bit more light. I'm not an expert on kind of the science behind the light, but I've noticed on my rifle scope, I have a bigger lens, and I pull in quite a bit more light with it. The magnification is still the same. It's the 10x. So you also just have a little bit more better field of view here. So if I'm taking one pair, like if I'm bow hunting, I'm taking the 10x42s. If I'm rifle hunting, and this is out west, out in elk hunting and stuff, I'm gonna end up taking the 10x50s. And I'll bring both, but if I'm just keeping one on me, these weigh a little bit more. And there's also a lot of people like the 8x42s if they're only like bow hunting in the whitetail woods and stuff like that. So what else do I have in here? So with the Cub Max, this is connected to like a leash. So because you're always throwing them in here and you're not relatching this lid here, and lids really just keep crap out. you know, like tree stuff and all that. These always, you're like jumping over a little creek bed or whatever, they pop out. This holds them in. It has two, I just keep one. The other one's in the way. So what else do you have? This front pouch right here. This is for my rangefinder. Also has a leash. And I like this because it's on a little shock leash, a little bungee leash. So I can range something, and if I'm like let's say I'm within like 20, 30 yards of an animal, I don't even have to worry about getting this back in here, making any noise. I'll just let it down, just let it drop. It just hangs there, pull my bow back, make a shot. So this right here, I actually just got this one. This is the Kilo Sig 5K. Ranges deer out to like 2,000, reflectives out to like 5,000. I had the Kilo 2K, I believe it was before. They quit making it, and basically the electronics in it started to fade. I called them up, they gave me a really good discount on this one. I love the 6 hour rangefinders. The Vortex stuff's great too. I've just had very good luck with the 6 hour stuff. So what else do I have in here? Basically I got a side pocket here, and a bottom pocket, and then a couple things hanging. So I always have my smoke in a bottle. So this is, you know, scent or wind detector. Sometimes you're on those days where the wind's flipping around a lot, and this is more bow hunting stuff, but we are constantly checking the wind. Like when I'm going on backpack hunting, I mean, I'm bringing 4 or 5 bottles of this stuff because we're just boom, 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 pumping it out all the time. So I just leave this thing hang, because then what's awesome, like, you know, like my big brother, for example, he's always having to get in his pocket and get his out. I just take this thing, just flip it like this, and I'll just smoke it just like that. Wind shows us wind direction. So what else here? So this is my lens cleaner. You know, you get these wherever. This is just a little Kuyu one I picked up somewhere, probably on an order. On this side, I seem to get dry eyes in the mountain. Hand sanitizer, this stuff, you know, obviously for taking a dump or whatever, but also amazing fire starter, chapstick, and then of course my trusty lighter. So that all stays on the left. I have one more component in here, which is for the binos to mount to the tripod, but we'll go over that in a minute. I have another one out. On my right side, all I keep is calls. So, assuming they're still in here, yeah. So, diaphragm calls. You know, I just keep a bunch of different diaphragm calls for like elk hunting. Keep reed calls also. And then I also have a reed call, a bigger one that's not in here right now. I just keep it stuck in here all the time. That way, you know, just kind of has like a little bit of elasticity to it. I just pull it out, and you know, you just make the call. It has a different pitch than this one. It's a little bit bigger. So on the bottom, that is, let's see what I got in here. Okay, bug spray, especially in Oklahoma, you know, in the October woods, but really even in September in the mountains, this is kind of comes in handy pretty well. I just got back from that elk hunt right now. I hope I was in the view there, but anyway, we had mosquitoes. Keep a little travel tube of sunscreen. Stuff always comes in handy. I keep this little Sharpie in here. I'm like, sometimes I'll mark on my arrows, like if I get like, you know, because for instance, I buy all my veins the same. So once I like knock tune them, I'll find what the cock vein is, and then I'll mark that one with this. But you know, just making little notes, whatever. I keep this little Leatherman. I think this is the, let's see if it says, the Skeletal. It's very minimal. This is not my skinning knife. This is kind of more, you know, working on my bow. I have little attachments that are in my outdoor research, what is that? My backcountry organizer. Like it has all the little Leatherman and bits that are in the different Allen stuff. So I've had to work on my bow. I make sure to keep this because, you know, if you ever have to work on something, tighten a scope or whatever, This is essential. The other stuff actually stays in my like backpack that I'm carrying all the time. And then the last thing is a little compass. I use Onyx. I have my Garmin GPS watch. This is the Phoenix 6. And this, you know, I can mark the truck on here and all that, but you just never know when all that stuff's gonna fail. I actually had one time as I was up in Steamboat and I had my phone conk out on me and everything. And fortunately I had my backup, a different Garmin GPS, the 64S, but gotta have a compass just in case. Just get something small. So that's everything here. If I'm shooting my bow, anything like that, I am always wearing the bino harness. It's just basically a part of my hunting identity. So, all right. The other glass, like I kind of talked about, this is the Vortex Razor model 10x50. These come off when they go in there, and this can just slip in there. So I can trade these out. They stick up a little bit higher, but I can still get the lid closed there. These are really good glass. I've been very happy with them. Okay, so if you are going to do any serious glassing, you really need a tripod. We have two different ones here. This is, I just got this one pretty recently. This is the Ridgeview Carbon. What's nice about this, these legs extend out so that, you know, you can get this thing up to, I can stand up fully on this or with this and use my glass. My other one, let me get this. My other one here, this is the, what do they call this? The Summit SST. This is before they made the carbon one. They have a smaller carbon one now. These are just, the carbon stuff's just super expensive, so I haven't bought it. This is what I used to use. I cannot stand up with this. It gets up to about 5 feet. I'll take this sometimes, but now that I have this one, this is 3 pounds. This is 2 pounds. I actually just weighed them here. So you cannot use a spotting scope without a tripod. So when you're putting this on, a lot of times, this is my spotting scope here. Just pull this off, pull this front cover off, and you know, this just stabilizes everything. With the handle, actually I have it on backward here, but let me just switch it. So I can just lock it. You can just twist this handle, just lock it into position, and then, you know, adjust your magnification. This is a razor spotting scope. Let's see if I can't. It's 27 by 60. I believe, I need to look this up. So I can't remember. This is not the largest spotting scope they have. This is the second to largest as far as magnification goes. I'll look it up. It's the Razor model. This thing's been pretty awesome. The whole idea behind spotting scopes though is, I think they're a luxury. They're more of a trophy. Like if you're going after a specific animal or trophy animal or whatever, I'm mostly just using these for my binos. For example, let's take the spotting scope here, or not the spotting scope, this tripod here. This actually just screws on, so every pair of Vortex, and probably every pair of binoculars, I've only had Vortex, so I'm not sure, they have a little threaded end here in between. You take this, and you can screw this on to your, it's actually a little bit more challenging with these 10 by 50s, but you screw this on so that basically your binos just sit like right there. And once you stabilize your binos, you can see incredibly far, miles. And so typically I'm finding animals with my binoculars. And then if there's a specific animal I want to look at, I will take off the binos and I'll put on the spotting scope. And then you can look at detail. You can look at, you know, rack size, just sometimes you can spot other animals around, but typically I'm finding animals with my binos, then I'm putting on the spotting scope. That's not to say I've never found animals with the spotting scope, but the field of view is just so much smaller compared to this. There is a whole skill set to glassing. and I am not that good at it. I've learned, I've gotten better. I went on a mule deer hunt last year. That taught me a lot because you were just putting a lot of time behind the glass. But I would say these are two different tools. If you only have one, it's gonna be the binos. A lot of times, if I'm going light, this is one of the items that stays in the truck, especially this big one. I have a smaller one here I'm about to pull out and show you. So let's take this off here. So with the tripod, this is kind of more my truck one, but I am considering taking this one just because it just has a few more options. You can stand up full height. I now have, who makes this? I can't even remember who makes this thing. This thing's pretty sweet. So basically it's a clamp. And so you can stick in, like if I want to, I can just stick a spotting scope in here or whatever. But this is made to basically clamp down on a rifle. So you can have a real stable rest. So if I have this, plus hooking it up for my binos and a spotting scope, I mean, that's gonna put me in a great position. Except what's the other side of the equation? You're always talking about weight and thinking about weight. So this is awesome to be able to throw a rifle on. Just give yourself a super sturdy shot. And this thing, I mean, you can just raise it up so quick. It just has so many little micro adjustments that you can do on the fly. So the other spotting scope I use, this is the one I've had for many years. This is their smallest razor spotting scope. So there's basically there's like straight view and then an angle view. So this thing's been pretty awesome. The problem with spotting scopes are low light, and that's typically when animals are moving the most. They don't pull in as much light, and when you're kind of getting low light where you can still see with your binos, these put a lot of eye strain on you. But what I like about this thing right here is, let's explain the difference. So between like a straight and angled spotting scope. So this is made so if you're like looking up at the mountain, that essentially it allows you to not have to like look up like this and crane your neck up. You can look more straight, and then therefore the spotting scope is angled up. And I think this is 11 by 33 by 50. Yeah, it is. It says it right here. Couldn't remember. This has been great. I've taken this on a lot of trips. This is nice and light. So I also now have this. I personally get a ton of eye strain off of looking through single-eyed glass, such as spotting scopes. Not binos for whatever reason. I mean, especially if you have good glass, you'll notice that. Like if you have crappy glass, you're gonna get like a headache, you're gonna get eye strain way faster. But this thing's pretty sweet because I can't show you exactly, considering my phone's being used for the recording of this video. But let's see. This goes right on the spotting scope here, like this. And then you take this contraption, you stick your phone in here, and you can make all these adjustments, bring it forward. It has like an X, Y, and Z axis so that you can just use your phone as the picture. So of course you're always considering battery life when you're up on the mountain, but this really helps relieve eye strain, especially if you're hunting like where I was hunting mule deer last year. We were using the trucks a lot. We were just spotting them from the trucks, and then we would make stalks on them. So the only other component we haven't talked about here is this is just another mount. So I know I have all this crap. All this crap does not go with me up in like the mountains if I'm backpacking. I'll usually take it all in the truck. So, and then I'll make decisions. Like, I'll be looking at my weight. I'm usually trying to be about like 35, 38 pounds, definitely sub 40. So obviously I can't take this if I'm doing that. But you know, if I'm going somewhere where I'm really maybe worried about like trophy animal, I haven't got to that level of hunting yet. I haven't taken enough game where I'm that particular yet. I would probably consider taking this. This is more for the truck, but what this does right here, essentially, it's just like a tripod, except it goes on your window of your truck, clamps on right here, so it's tight, and then this swivels just like exactly like your tripod. And if you need to go up or down, just hit the window up or down. This is awesome. So yeah, I think that's the basics of all this stuff. So we have our spotting scopes, 2 of those. We have 2 tripods here, 2 different pairs of binos, and then you know we have our bino mount here, which goes to our which allows it to attach to a tripod, or it allows it to attach to the window mount. And then of course, non-negotiable, this goes with me everywhere, even if I'm just practicing shooting my bow or whatever, my bino harness. So I think that's it.